And for our friend Veritas, WSWS,
Yeah.
they do put out some good stuff. And I did mention George Gallanis, who's one of the better writers there, and I'm a big fan of his work. And now we move into the second
Yep.
section, which is labor continues to push back. Anger grows over John
Right.
Deere's workers over the UAW's plans for poverty strike pay.
Yep.
$275 a week beginning the third week of the strike, less than the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour.
Crazy.
More than 10,000 striking Deere workers in Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Georgia, Colorado rejected that tentative agreement backed by the UAW by more than 90% margin on October 10th. The 6-year agreement backed by the union and company included raises below current inflation rates and the removal of pensions for new workers. This 275
Fight
isn't enough,
for your
obviously.
whole
Right?
loaf of bread.
This is unbelievable. So 275 isn't enough. People are asking when we're going to get our first check. Holding them out like this is going to cause a lot of issues for people who need to pay car payments, rent payments, etc. So again, the low level of strike pay plan for workers is not because of the UAW apparatus is hurting financially. According to the union's LM2 filing, they had net assets of over $1.1 billion last year and a strike fund of over $790 million built with worker dues money. It's just sitting there. That is infuriating. Of course, in 2018, UAW international officers awarded themselves 30% pay increases at the union's quadrennial convention. In 2020, as COVID ravaged plants and factories, UAW President Roy Gamble received the top pay of $244,772 in salary and expenses. Number 2 was Ray Curry, then Secretary Treasurer and current UAW President, at $236,608. Top 17 UAW officers grossed more than $200,000 each last year. There's a little bit of cash, but again, you're talking about a strike fund of $790 million. Why aren't they paying more than $275 per worker?
No clue.
This makes no sense.
Yep.
Hundreds of officials at the misnamed Solidarity House headquarters will continue receiving paychecks averaging in the thousands of dollars a week. And they break it down to how much they're making. The officially reported incomes of UAW executives and international reps are just one portion of the privileges and wealth accruing to these upper middle class layers. And this is where a lot of people have problems with World Socialist website because they're deemed anti-union, which they are to a point, but what they want is the rank and file workers to organize into their own committees and not rely on executives to grease the pockets of the executives at the top of the companies, and it becomes a boys network or a whatever you want to call it, an executive network, an elites network. All right. The idea of starving us out is happening. It's a lot quicker than I thought it would be, to be honest. I feel like there are just way too many small flaws in the system, and people are starting to crack the face that the happy face the union's putting on Facebook. Deere worker from Waterloo commented on the history of UAW's history of corruption. I'm a 17-year dues-paying member. Remember when they borrowed from the strike fund for Dennis Williams' condo box at Black Lake? Now he's in jail. That's right. They're intent on ending the strike, and that's the other thing, is that the union always is intent on keeping people working and keeping the company happy as well as the workers, of course, because the workers are happiest when they're working, when they're receiving adequate pay, and when they're receiving adequate benefits, and when they're receiving proper vacation and time off and overtime and all of these things. And again, it starts with a living wage. Talking about Dana Inc. also. Dana's another massive auto parts provider where voters voted by 90% on a UAW and United Steelworkers, sellout contract. Every contract that they say that signed by a union is a sellout, whether it's UAW or anybody else. The Carpenters Union signed a sellout agreement last week. Despite their efforts to keep Deere strikers isolated and place them under significant financial pressure, workers remain in a combative mood. Understood. Understandable. I think most are fed up and will not fold. I think this goes through Thanksgiving. They're losing $30 million a day during the strike, somebody said. Or are they here? So again, to learn more about joining the rank and file committee, there is an email address that these guys are trying to help organize, or a text message, and they have a form here for anybody that wants to help support that. Again, George Gallanis is one of the better ones. I'm a fan of his writing, and he's laying down facts in here that I did not know. So this is a really useful article. So thanks to WSWS for always being a top contributor to Leftists Today.